What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Let me get everything ready to rock and roll. You already know the routine. And I already know the routine. Whoa. Let's see what we got going on for today. Trying to get this set up like usual. Boom. It is Friday, so it's going to be a quick, easy day. It's going to be quick and easy. Go right here. Get that right there. All right. Ooh-wee. Let's see what's going on. We got to get all this aligned. Everything's pretty normal. AMD did go up a little bit. Let's see about NVIDIA. It's trying to go off a little bit, come off the edges. S&P 500 still in the same area. NVTS, the new kid on the block. Basically flat as Friday, what we expect. Google, shout out to YouTube, did sell off after that huge earnings report. It sold off. Let's see about Apple. Typical Friday pre-market. We are waiting. Let's see. Let me go over here. Right here. And we're going to go right here. Powell and Trump.
George.
Uh-oh. Kind of messed up.
Well, thank you very much. We're looking at the construction, and we're with the chairman, as you know. Chairman, come on over.
Look at Jerome Powell.
We're just taking a look at what's happening.
You see that Jerome Powell got way away from him. Look at Jerome Powell, how he's looking. And look how Trump is looking at Jerome Powell out the corner of his eye.
It's a tough construction job. They're building basements where they didn't exist or expanding them, and a lot of very expensive work. There's no question about it. And Tim has been with me for a long time, and you're in charge of the committee.
Indeed. One of the reasons why we wanted to see it was the overruns of the expenses. Wanted to figure out why.
Yeah. So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about $3.1 billion. It went up a little bit.
They're accusing Jerome Powell of overspending on this Fed building.
Or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Look, Trump got his receipts, ready to rock and roll. Jerome Powell says, I'm not aware of that, Mr. President. I'm not aware of that. But Trump got his receipts.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2.
This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added.
That's our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building.
Well,
including
no,
the
but
Martin building.
it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's
So,
not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect it?
Jerome Powell is kind of right. It's not new. It's not being built right now. That building is already completed.
Any more additional
Crazy
crossover?
word.
Don't
Crazy
expect them.
Trumpster. What's
No,
up,
we're
Gear
ready
Jam?
for them. But we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use. But no, we don't. We expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not under too much.
Yeah, that's one thing about them hard hats, bro. I used to hate wearing them hard hats too. They get hot, make you sweaty. Yeah, they're very, very uncomfortable.
danger. So, any
Those
questions?
warheads are very, very
As a real estate developer, what would you do with a project manager who would be over budget?
Generally speaking, what would I do? I'd fire them.
Do you think this issue is
Well, I'm here just really with the chairman. He's showing us around, showing us the work. And so I don't want to get that. I don't want to be personal. I just would like to see it get finished. And in many ways, it's too bad it started. But it did start. And it's been under construction for a long time. It's going to be a real long time because it looks like it's got a long way to go.
Yes, sir.
So.
President, are there things the chairman can say to you today that would make you back off some of the earlier criticism?
Well, I'd love him to lower interest rates. But other than that, what can I tell you? The country is doing really well. I just briefed the chairman on the deal we made with Japan. Japan is putting up $550 billion in order to lower their tariff.
If he lowers interest rates, he'll be Donald Trump's best friend right now.
Tariffs a little bit. That way they have a little bit lower tariff. And they also opened their country to free trade, which nobody thought was even a possibility. And we get a zero tariff in the free trade. We don't pay tariffs, and they're going to pay 15% on everything they send into our country. So it's great. But they put up, as you could call it, seed money. Let's call it seed money. You could call it anything you want, but it's a total of $550 billion. So nobody thought any of that was possible, and it's wonderful. And we're doing pretty well with the European Union, likewise, and we have some others. They're all really big, and our country's going to make a lot of money. We would be helped if interest rates would come down, but we're going to see how the board rules on that soon. I'd love to see them come down a lot, but we have a country that's thriving. We had a dead country 1 year ago. Today we have the hottest country anywhere in the world, and we'll get this one finished.
Mr. President, you
Thank you.
think that your own housing unsold?
We got the hottest country in the world, guys. Hottest country in the world. Everybody want to do business with America. Let's go. Everybody want to do business with America. Let's get it. What's up, chat? How y'all doing this morning? Appreciate y'all for joining me. How y'all doing? Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Appreciate y'all for joining me. Let's go. Appreciate y'all for joining me. I am your host, the one and only Stock Sniper.
Sorry.
That Trump-Powell interaction was kind of intense, wasn't it, guys? You could tell the energy when they was around each other wasn't good. Powell is like, you trying to tell me how to do my job. And Trump is like, you won't be my puppet and do what I tell you to do. Come on, let's get it, guys. Appreciate y'all for joining me. Hit the like button as you tune in, tapping in. Subscribe to the channel. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and we ready to rock and roll. Ready to rock and roll. How did y'all take that interaction between Trump and Jerome Powell? And a matter of fact, that site looks like it needs a lot of work done. A lot of work, guys. Yeah, it looks like it needs a lot of work. Cost of living went up. Boston Squad, what's up? How you doing? Walter. Adusi, hello, how you doing? James McDonald. Walter again. The cost of living went up. Boston Squad, yeah, okay. I went food shopping before you were in office. I got a bunch of food. Now that you're in office, put 375, I don't get anything. Wow. Adusa, hi. Rice over cars. No wonder Japan is happy. It's Fed money, not taxpayers. Foreign politics, this is huge. Trump can go pound sand. It's completed exactly 100, so why do they need more money for that building? Good point. They put more money in the spending budget on that building and it's already completed. Praise the Trumpster. Yeah, they put in an extra $500 million. Trump moved pretty good to be old, though, guys. You got to give it to him.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. And it feels very good, actually, to be back on a construction site. You know, if you remember, not so long ago, we rebuilt the old post office into the Trump Hotel, and we sold it to Waldorf Astoria. And it was a great success, and we had great luck with the building. We did a good job. We built it quickly and relatively inexpensively for about $200 million. And that was a big hotel, big project. But we looked around, and Tim Scott's here someplace. Tim, come on up. You saw what we saw, and the big thing is to get it done. They have to get it done. They have to get it finished. And very importantly, we have to get interest rates lowered in our country. Our country is the hottest in the world right now, but the one section, people are pretty much unable to buy housing because the interest rates are too high. We have no inflation. We have a lot of cash coming in. The tariffs have been unbelievable now. People that didn't even believe in tariffs are saying, what a great move that was. We have hundreds of billions of dollars coming in. Japan, just on one deal, is paying us $550 billion. And they opened up their economy. It's incredible, the deal. And they're happy, we're happy, everybody's happy. But we should have the lowest interest rate of any country, and we don't. We should have. Every point is worth $365 billion. So we want to get the rates down, but we also want to get the Fed building finished. So I met with the contractors, we toured it with the chairman, and we had a very good tour, and we'll talk to you about it sometime, but Tim and I, we sort of understand what happened.
Too expensive. Bottom line is this, that Americans deserve to become first-time home buyers. President Trump has created the best economy in the world. The one thing that would make it better is lower interest rates. Full employment is even more possible. Wages rise faster as interest rates come down when your employment is at 4.1% because of your leadership. We have revenues coming in at record-breaking, maybe last month even more revenue coming in than bills going out, which is remarkable.
They found $26 billion. They said, where did that come from? Nobody, I think that's been many, many decades since that happened.
I can't remember that.
They found 26 billion last month, and they said, where did that come from? I said, why don't you try the tariff? Said it was true. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars, and our country's doing great, and we have no inflation, and the numbers, the job, everything is good. The one thing we have to do is get housing prices down and the interest rates down so people can buy the house, because they're all making money, but they can't get the interest rate down. We have to.
Amen.
All right. And he's been my friend for a long
You've been
time.
on a number of construction sites. Did you see mismanagement going on or funds that aren't?
Well, I see a very luxurious situation taking place. Let's put it that way. And I was given a very nice tour by the head of construction. And, look, if you look over here, they're trying to open up the basement. When you open up a basement, first of all, it's the worst space. Always a basement is the worst space in a building. And it's also the most expensive space to build. And especially here because you have a water line. They're going down into the water, so they have to build what's called a reverse bathtub. The water has to be kept out. It's very expensive construction. So it would have been good if they didn't build it. Would have been good if they didn't do certain other things. If you look at the kind of protection in the hall, have you been able to get in the hall? You saw the protection of plywood. I mean, that was a lot of money just to protect it for a period of time. I would have done it very gingerly and easily and not have spent, millions of dollars on protection. And there are things that could have been different. Look, there's always Monday morning quarterbacks. I don't want to be that. I want to help them get it finished. It's been going on for years, and I want to help them get it finished. And what we really want to do, and I think I can speak for Tim, and I think I can speak for the entire Senate, we can speak for everybody, frankly, is we want to see interest rates come down. Our country is booming, and the interest rates is a final little notch. And if you look at Europe, they've lowered 11 times in a short period of time. We've lowered 0. And, they are competition, although we're in the process of probably making a very good deal with them, too. They want to make a deal very badly, very badly. So we're making a deal. We just completed our deal with Indonesia. We just completed our deal with the Philippines. We're making unbelievable deals, and the money is pouring in. We want to get interest rates down.
But on interest rates, at some point, does the level of interest rates now slow economic growth?
Yeah, it never helps it if it's high. Never helps it. Well, it's already as good as we're doing. Think of how well we'd be doing. We'd be like a rocket ship. As good as we're doing, we'd do better if we had lower interest rates. And we should. We're prime. Don't forget, without us, the whole world collapses. So we should have the lowest interest rate because, you can talk about Switzerland, you can talk about wonderful countries, no debt, but without us, everything collapses. We should have the lowest interest rate. And if you took it down 3 points, not a little bit, but 3 points, if you got us down to 1, we would save more than $1 trillion, basically with just a paper transfer. You wouldn't be cutting costs of anything. You wouldn't be building anything. Just a move of the hand saying we're going to lower interest rates. You would save $1 trillion a year. And there's nothing you can do to save that kind of money. So
Did the Fed chairman say why he's not?
well, we had a little talk about it, and I thought it was a very productive talk. He'll be able to tell you at his next meeting, but I will say that he did say the country's doing really well. And the country is really doing well.
Mr.
President.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
How would you describe your talk with him? Would you say that the energy was tense? Did you come?
No, I didn't think it was tense. No, I thought we had a good meeting. I really, no, there was no tension. There was no tension. I think he had more tension.
We got over 300 people in the chat. Appreciate y'all for joining me. I need y'all to do 2 things. One, would you please go vote? Should we get a dividend on all this money that's coming in? Every day, Trump always talking about all this money that's coming in. Eventually, the people going to be like, man, we getting all this money. Where's our share? Where's our piece of this pie? Y'all please go vote. should we, as the people, get a dividend, a percentage of all this money coming in? And also, I appreciate y'all for joining me. Subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you agree with what I just said.
Tension with my great senator to the right. He's pretty tough cookie. He was, you might say.
Bottom line is we had an honest, candid conversation about some of the overruns at this building. We had it in my banking committee, and he said we were wrong, and turns out we were right. Thank God President Trump and his team took enough time to dig into some of the details, and the details are clear. We need to get this project done. We would like to keep it where it is or a little lower, but at the end of the day, the point is that instead of talking about interest rates, instead of talking about first-time home buyers, instead of talking about the...
Hey, how you doing? Rosina Taylor, appreciate you for joining me. Yes, Trump did, Powell did correct him right on live, guys. Trump tried to tell him that it wasn't 2.7, it was 3.1. But Powell said, nah, bro, y'all put that in there. That building that y'all added in there is already completed.
The heat in our economy,
Good
that's
point,
a good
Jerome
thing.
Powell.
We're talking about an overrun on the Federal Reserve building as opposed to the Federal Reserve objective of lowering and keeping our economy full.
You know, as an example, they built parking spots under a building next door.
Really expensive.
That's very expensive. When you're starting to build parking lots, underground parking lots, that's a very expensive thing. A lot of people I know, they park their car and they walk a block or 2 blocks or something. But it is a very expensive thing. But that is what it is, and that's okay.
Is this project a fireable offense?
What?
Is this project a fireable offense for Jerome Powell?
Look, I would love to see it completed. I don't want to put that in this category. It's a very complex thing that could have been made simple. I built a great hotel, and the great hotel that everybody in this group knows very well, it's called the Old Post Office, and it's a much bigger project than this, and I spent $200 million building it. And it was taken down to the steel, for the most part, taken down, you know, you've seen it go up. And I built it quickly, and I built it for $200 million. That was a much bigger job than this. Spent $200 million, and it's got marble bathrooms, the top fixtures, the best of everything, all brand new. So, you know, this is a very expensive job. I don't know, it got out of control. And that happens, it's a shame.
Are you negotiating on auto tariffs? Your auto tariffs...
No, I'm not negotiating on auto tariffs.
Does EU looking at 15% like Japan?
Well, it depends. What Japan did is they brought down their tariffs. They gave us $550 billion because they didn't want to pay 20. They were 28%. And they gave us $550 billion up front. 100%, 500. We get 90, they get 10. 90%, they get 10. And there's no payment. It's not a loan or anything. It's a signing bonus, I call it. But they gave us $550 billion and took down the tariff.
What's up, Isaiah? How you doing? Appreciate you for joining me.
Tariffs a little bit, and then they agreed to open their economy to everybody. This was not easy. This took, you know, a lot of people walked out of rooms and things. Sometimes they walked out of rooms, went back to Japan.
Right.
I said, where are they? They went back to Japan, and then they called and they said, can we make a deal? They came back a couple of times. This happened. This was, as you know, it was over a period of months, and ultimately they agreed to open their economy. Now, the opening of the economy is worth more than $550 billion, the payment that they made. It's worth more. So between that and the payment, we reduced it down to 15%. But they were at about 28%, and then they bought it down, basically.
But could other countries buy it down?
Yeah, I would let other countries buy it down, sure.
Mr. President, do you feel better or worse about your relationship with President Chevin after this meeting?
I feel good about it. I mean, look, I have one dispute, and the dispute is there could be some things with money and, you know, where it comes from, how it's come from, how it's printed, where it's printed, all of the standard things with the Fed. But I just want to see one thing happen, very simple. Interest rates have to come down. If the interest rates don't come down, we're knocking it out of the park with high interest rates. If interest rates come down, then that final little element kicks in, that's housing. And the sad part is that people, wonderful young people, young couples starting off, they can't get a mortgage because the rates are too high. Tim knows that better than anybody, I think.
Mr. President, if the rates are hurting families in the country, why let that keep going for another 8 months? Why not just fire them?
Because to do that is a big move, and I just don't think it's necessary. And I believe that he's going to do the right thing.
Do you have a name in mind?
I believe that the chairman is going to do the right thing. I mean, it may be a little too late, as the expression goes, but I believe he's going to do the right thing. The fact is, it's so big what's taking place in America, where the king of Saudi Arabia says you have the hottest country anywhere in the world, and I thought you were dead 1 year ago. I thought we were dead. I just left NATO, as you know. They're agreeing to pay 5%. We're not paying anything. We send them the equipment. They pay for 100% of everything now for the war, Ukraine. But I just left NATO, and every one of those leaders said, every country, they said,
We got 1,000 people in the building, guys. I need all y'all to do me a favor. I need y'all to go vote. Let me know what you think. Go vote. I appreciate everybody for joining me. I am your host, the one and only Stock Sniper. I thank every last one of y'all for coming and rocking with me, but I need you to go vote. I need you to go vote. Let me know what you think. We got 109 votes. We need about 500 votes, guys. We need about 500 votes. Then, after you vote, I need you to hit that like button. I need you to subscribe to the channel. And I need you to make a comment. And let me know what you think.
they said, and very smart countries, very successful countries, frankly. And every one of them said you have the hottest country in the world. We did that over a period of a year, less than a year. I mean, if you think, they say a year ago we were dead, and today, so I'm here 6 months, and we did it over, and we had the help of men like this and people like standing right behind me. They're
Leadership
great.
matters.
They're great professionals. They really are. They're great professionals, and in a short period of time, we made it the hottest country in the world. With all of that being said, we'd like to see. We can always do better, and we can do better if interest rates come down. Good job you do. You do a nice job. I watch you a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mr. President. Do you have a name in mind to replace the chairman?
I do.
Or one person?
2 people. Maybe 3.
Any clues?
I'd pick him, but I think he's not leaving the Senate.
No, sir, I'm not.
I'd pick Tim.
Thank you. Pressure on Powell to resign?
No, there's no pressure. No. We want to have, his term comes up soon. I think he's going to do the right thing. Everybody knows what the right thing is. Even people that believed in, the higher rates, they're all on board. They all want to see the interest rates come down. It's very important.
Mr. President, if he doesn't do the right thing and cut interest rates, as you said, you don't consider...
I don't think we're going to do that. I don't think so.
Investigate the newly declassified documents by Gaza.
Yeah, that's a terrible thing. I have great respect for Tulsi and the documents they found on President Obama, frankly. It was an Obama thing, but it was the people that worked under him also working with him. And no, it's a very, very serious thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, everybody.
The only thing that he said that is available now is water. Something about how we spend our day here and nights, and sometimes I sleep on empty stomachs, and sometimes I don't sleep at all because the airstrikes do not stop, because of the stories that I tell in front of the cameras about what's going on, about the mothers are crying, about the children who are screaming because they don't have food to eat. The many people are searching for other people, but when just think.
Let's see, let me look. Well, I don't see that comment no more. I'm trying to find a comment that I want to say something about. I mean, it's moving so fast.
Thinking about what's happening, just being alive, trying to stay protected and safe and alive in Gaza is a form of resistance. I try to stay strong in front of the camera, but behind it, I'm breaking. Just like Gaza is breaking now.
We'll now speak to Hani. He's joining us from Gaza City. So Hani, as we were seeing in your report, you and others in Gaza struggle every day to get by and to find food and water. And at the same time, the strikes are relentless. So how are the Israeli strikes making that situation just so much worse.
They do, Doreen, on the ground, the intensity of the airstrikes and explosions and the unpredictable attacks. Like you would be walking in a street, whether it's a crowded street or an empty one, you don't know what is going to be hit next. And that decreases our mobility and limit our mobility in Gaza City. We try to just use our assessment of how the situation on the ground to be outside and try to find basic necessities. It's past midday now, and we haven't eaten yet. We've been living on water since morning, but hopefully by the end of the day we'll be able to get something. But the strikes continue. They already hit a school housing displaced families. 5 people reported killed inside a prayer room that was set up inside this school that turned into a shelter for the displaced families. And the prayer room represented a place of tranquility, of peace, where people can say their prayer inside this room, and offers more of a bond to the community of the displaced community members inside this school. 5 people reported killed, including many of the children who were either present with their parents inside the prayer room or in the next door classrooms that turned into homes for the thousands of Palestinians across the Gaza Strip. Classrooms now are not a place of learning. They are the homes, the rooms, the kitchens, and the living room of displaced families. And each classroom, you have 2 or 3 families are sharing this small space. Another attack on Yafa Street, where a group of people were targeted by a drone strikes. And just in the past few minutes, renewed heavy artillery in the eastern part of Khan Yunis city. So from north to south, non-stop attacks and non-stop misery as a result.
Hani, thank you so much for your reporting, talking to us from Gaza City this hour. Thank you. As you've been hearing, Israeli strikes across the Strip have killed 21 Palestinians, and that's since dawn. Among the fatalities were 5 people killed in an airstrike on a building in Gaza City. Our correspondent Ibrahim Khalili was there and filed this report from the Al Rimal neighborhood.
In the light of the staggering escalation of attacks by the Israeli military targeting various areas across the Gaza Strip, the situation is getting much more dire as the Israeli fighters just targeted Al-Qahira school in the west of Gaza City, killing many Palestinians and dozens were injured.
We are desperately waiting for someone to come and save us from the torment we are enduring. We are exhausted. We're talking about a direct attack on a refugee center, a place where innocent people are sheltering. The Palestinian people.
A lot of you aren't. Are you going? Huh? Well, you got to get moving. That's a good one. That's going to be a good one. So we have great numbers we just announced. I don't have to go over it because you've seen them, but we have great economic numbers. The deal with Japan is amazing. You've got $150 billion, and we have totally open access into Japan. Those numbers are great. Actually, I walked up, they said, sir, there's too much winning. They picked up on a little routine, you know. Go ahead.
Mr. President, can I ask you about the DOJ lawsuit that you filed yesterday against New York City and Mayor Adams? In the lawsuit, they named the CBP officer that was off duty that was shot. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's DOJ going against New York, but we're going against a lot of other places, too. We want to bring safety to our cities, but that's going to be a pretty routine filing with other cities too. As you know, we've started numerous lawsuits with other cities. We want to bring safety. We've got to get the criminals out, and we're doing it in record numbers.
Sir,
Yeah, Gaza, they pulled out of Gaza. They pulled out in terms of negotiating. It was too bad. Hamas didn't really want to make a deal. I think they want to die, and it's very, very bad. And it got to be to a point where you're going to have to finish the job. They really, they asked for things. Don't forget, we got a lot of hostages out. So now we're down to the final hostages, and they know what happens after you get the final hostages. And basically, because of that, they really didn't want to make a deal. I saw that. So they pulled out, and They're going to have to fight, and they're going to have to clean it up. You're going to have to get rid of it.
What are you hoping Todd Blanche gets out of his meetings with Ghislaine Maxwell?
Well, I don't know about the meeting. I know it's taking place, and he's a fantastic man. He's a great attorney, and people should really focus on how well the country's doing, or they should focus on the fact that Barack Hussein Obama led a coup, or they should focus on the fact that Larry Summers from Harvard, that Bill Clinton, who you know very well, and lots of other friends, really close friends of Jeffrey Summers, should be spoken about. Because, you know, Jeffrey Epstein should be spoken about. And they should speak about them, because they don't talk about them. They talk about me. I have nothing to do with the guy.
Are you considering Are you considering
Easy.
Will you do any business deals with the UK?
Yeah, I'm going to meet with the Prime Minister right now. We're going to be over there in about 6 hours. We're meeting with the Prime Minister tonight. We're going to be talking about the trade deal that we made and maybe even improve it.
Are you considering clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell? Are you considering clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell, sir?
I saw homeless people sleeping right outside the gates of the White House.
Oh!
I think it's terrible.
Whoa.
And we'll have them removed immediately.
Did y'all hear that? A guy told him they got homeless people right outside of the White House, bro, laying on the sidewalks, bro. They got homeless people right outside of the White House.
We do remove it. We've got to get the mayor to run this city properly. This city has to be run. You know, I have the right to take it over, and I think it's terrible. Where are they? Where did you see them?
Right outside on Pennsylvania Avenue.
Near the Treasury.
Right across the Mafia Park near the Treasury. Have you heard about Todd Blanche's interview with Ghislaine Maxwell? And would you pardon or clemency for Ghislaine?
Well, I don't want to talk about that. What I do want to say is that Todd is...
That's crazy work, y'all. Did y'all hear what that man just asked him? What is he going to do about the homeless people that are sleeping outside of the White House, bro? Now, see, that's another thing. We got to do something about the homelessness in America. You know, I know where I'm at. It's bad, bro. The homeless people, they sleep on the sidewalk. They run all in the middle of the street. You know, we have to do something about the homelessness in America, bro. That man just said that there are homeless people laying outside of the building of the White House. That's crazy.
Todd is a great attorney. But you ought to be speaking about Larry Summers. You ought to be speaking about some of his friends that are hedge fund guys. They're all over the place. You ought to be speaking about Bill Clinton, who went to the island 28 times. I never went to the island.
Do you maintain you did not write a letter for Jeffrey?
Hey, what's up, Tim? Behavior Bender. Hello, how y'all doing? Appreciate y'all for joining me.
I don't even know what they're talking about. Now, somebody could have written a letter and used my name, but that's happened a lot. All you have to do is take a look at the dossier, the fake dossier. Everything's fake with that administration. Everything's fake with the Democrats. Take a look at what they just found about the dossier. Everything is fake. They're a bunch of sick people. Where did you see the people laying outside?
Right across the street from Lafayette Park, sir, towards 15.
We'll take care of it.
Are you hoping to meet with President Putin for bringing hostages home? What are the alternative methods to bring hostages home from Gaza?
Well, we got a lot of them out, and it's I've always said those last 10 or 20 are going to be the toughest, because Hamas knows what happens when they don't have any bargaining chips. And they really broke a deal. They broke a deal, and you're going to have to do what you have to do right now. It's a terrible thing. And I always do that. I said, when you get down to the last one, they're not going to be able to make a deal.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell if she's cooperating?
It's something I haven't thought about. It's really something. It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
But you wouldn't rule it out, sir?
Why has the dollar fallen so much, and are you concerned about that?
Well, you know, I'm a person that likes a strong dollar, but a weak dollar makes you a hell of a lot more money. Hate to tell you, I don't know if you study it, but I study it.
I went to the same
And if you
school
look
as
at the yen,
I went to Penn and worked, so I know this.
you understand.
Absolutely.
Oh, you did go to Penn.
I went to work, yes,
Well,
sir.
that means you're a smarter guy than I even thought, and I know you're smart. So when we have a strong dollar, one thing happens. It sounds good. But you don't do any tourism. You can't sell tractors. You can't sell trucks. You can't sell anything. It is good for inflation. That's about it. And we have no inflation. We've wiped out inflation. But it's an interesting question. So I will never say I like a low currency, but you remember the battles I had with the yuan, with China and with Japan, Japan being the yen. They always wanted a weak currency. They're trying to get a weak currency now. Now, it doesn't sound good, but you make a hell of a lot more money with a weaker dollar. Not a weak dollar, but a weaker dollar than you do with a strong dollar. And the first people that are going to notice it are the manufacturers of trucks and various other things. Like, look at Caterpillar, how well they're doing now. When you have a strong dollar, you can't sell anything. It's only good for inflation, and it's good psychologically. It makes you feel good. But with that being said, I love strong dollars. But you make your money with a currency. And I had so many different fights with President Xi, between Japan and China. All they want to do is have a weak currency. They're always fighting for a weak currency. And that's how they really dominate.
Wait, I got to run that back.
They're a bunch of sick people. Where did you see the people laying outside?
Right across the street from Lafayette Park, sir, towards 50.
I got to run this back.
With the guy.
Are you considering will you do any business deals with the UK?
Yeah, I'm going to meet with the Prime Minister right now. We're going to be over there in about 6 hours. We're meeting with the Prime Minister tonight. We're going to be talking about the trade deal that we made and maybe even improve it.
Are you considering clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell? Are you considering clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell, sir?
I saw homeless people sleeping right outside the gates of the White House. Are you concerned about that?
I think it's terrible, and we'll have them removed immediately. We do remove it. We've got to get the mayor to run this city properly. This city has to be run. You know, I have the right to take it over, and I think it's terrible. Where are they? Where did you see them?
Right outside on Pennsylvania Avenue.
Near the Treasury.
Right across the street from Lafayette Park.
Have you heard about Todd Blanchard's interview with Ghislaine Maxwell? And would you pardon or clemency for Ghislaine?
Well, I don't want to talk about that. What I do want to say is that Todd is a great attorney, but you ought to be speaking about Larry Summers. You ought to be speaking about some of his friends that are hedge fund guys. They're all over the place. You ought to be speaking about Bill Clinton, who went to the island 28 times. I never went to the island.
Do you maintain you did not write a letter for Jeffrey Epstein's birthday?
I don't even know what they're talking about. Now, somebody could have written a letter and used my name, but that's happened a lot. All you have to do is take a look at the dossier, the fake dossier. Everything's fake with that administration. Everything's fake with the Democrats. Take a look at what they just found about the dossier. Everything is fake. They're a bunch of sick people. Where did you see the people laying outside?
Right across the street from Lafayette Park, sir, towards 50.
We'll take care of it.
Are you hoping to meet with President Putin for bringing hostages home? What are the alternative methods to bring hostages home from Gaza?
Well, we got a lot of them out, and it's I've always said those last 10 or 20 are going to be the toughest because Hamas knows what happens when they don't have any bargaining chips. And they really broke a deal. They broke a deal, and you're going to have to do what you have to do right now. It's a terrible thing. And I always do that. I said, when you get down to the last one, they're not going to be able to make a deal.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell if she's cooperating?
It's something I haven't thought about. It's really something. It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
But you wouldn't rule it out.
Mr. President, why has the dollar fallen so much, and are you concerned about that?
Well, you know, I'm a person that likes a strong dollar, but a weak dollar makes you a hell of a lot more money. I hate to tell you, I don't know if you study it, but I study it.
I went to the same
And if you
school
look
as
at the yen...
I went to Penn and worked, so I know this.
You understand?
Absolutely.
Oh, you did go to Penn?
I went to work, yes,
Well,
sir.
that means you're a smarter guy than I even thought, and I know you're smart. So when we have a strong dollar, one thing happens. It sounds good. But you don't do any tourism. You can't sell tractors. You can't sell trucks. You can't sell anything. It is good for inflation. That's about it. And we have no inflation. We've wiped out inflation. But it's an interesting question. So I will never say I like a low currency, but you remember the battles I had with the yuan, with China and with Japan, Japan being the yen. They always wanted a weak currency. They're trying to get a weak currency now. Now, it doesn't sound good, but you make a hell of a lot more money with a weaker dollar. Not a weak dollar, but a weaker dollar than you do with a strong dollar. And the first thing people...
You heard what he said? He said that you make a lot more money with a weaker dollar than you do a strong dollar. What do y'all think about that? He just said you make more money when the value of the dollar is weak than you do if the value of the dollar is strong. What do y'all think about that?
People that are going to notice it are the manufacturers of trucks and various other things. Like, look at Caterpillar, how well they're doing now. When you have a strong dollar, you can't sell anything. It's only good for inflation, and it's good psychologically. It makes you feel good.
He said if you have a strong dollar, you can't sell nothing.
But with that being said, I love strong dollars, but you make your money with a currency. And I had so many different fights with President Xi, between Japan and China. All they want to do is have a weak currency. They're always fighting for a weak currency. And that's how they really dominated over the years. So when I see it down there, I don't lose sleep over it, let's put it that way. In fact, sometimes I go to sleep very happy. You understand? Do you agree with me?
I agree with a lot of what you said, Mr. President. Do you think it makes it any easier to impose your tariff with that lower dollar? Because
I think it makes it easier even for tariffs, yeah. And it makes the tariffs worth much more. And it's easier to pay off debt. And it's easier to get a low interest rate, too. There are a lot of good things. It's hard to explain to people. The headline, Trump wants a weak dollar. It's not a weak dollar. You take a look at the history of China over the last 20 years. All they do is fight for a weak currency. Look at Japan when they were really doing well. They had a very weak currency. So, to me, I just say, thank you very much. It is what it is.
President, what's your comment on ceasefire? Have you given up on a Gaza ceasefire?
Well, the Gaza situation, and I said this was going to happen when you get down to your last 10 or 20. We got a lot of hostages out. We took them out in numbers that nobody believed, a lot of them. And I said, when you get down to 10 or 20, I don't think Hamas is going to make a deal because that means they have no protection. And basically, that's what happened. Hamas didn't want to make a deal.
Have you seen that photo?
I think what's going to happen is they're going to be hunted down.
Secondary sanctions sooner on Russia. Are you closer today to secondary sanctions?
We're looking at that whole situation. It could be that we'll have to put secondary sanctions on them.
Sooner than 50 days?
Maybe, yeah.
You think it's counterproductive?
Who are you with? Who are you with?
Scripps News.
Oh, good.
Counterproductive to France, for France to say that they would recognize the Palestinian state. Macron said that yesterday.
Look, he's a different kind of a guy. He's okay. He's a team player, pretty much. But here's the good news. What he says doesn't matter. You know, it's not going to change it. Well, he made a statement, France, Macron. His statement doesn't carry any weight. He's a very good guy. I like him, but that statement doesn't carry weight.
How important is the trade deal with the EU?
I would say that we have a 50-50 chance, maybe less than that, but a 50-50 chance of making a deal with the EU. And it'll be a deal where they have to buy down their tariffs, because they're right now at 30%. And they'll have to buy them down, maybe, or they could leave them the way they are. But they want to make a deal very badly. I would have said we have a 25% chance with Japan, and they kept coming back, and we made a deal, and the deal is, don't forget, Japan's putting up $550 billion. It's a lot of money. And also paying tariffs. The biggest part of the Japan deal, and maybe we get this with EU, maybe we don't, is that we have the right to go in and trade. We have the right. They've totally opened Japan just to the U.S. That's, to me, the biggest part of the deal.
What level higher
Nuclear disarmament. You said repeatedly you would like to see further nuclear.
Great comment, B Sniper. Weak dollar means investors get more for less. They will invest in the U.S. Easy to understand. Great comment, B Sniper.
Arms reductions between the United States and
like
Russia.
to see that.
But the new START treaty is expiring in about 6 months, and it cannot be legally extended.
That's a problem. That's a problem for the world.
Create a new one.
It's a problem for the world. You know, we have restrictions, and they have restrictions, as you know, on nuclear. That's not an agreement you want expiring. We're starting to work on that, but that is a big problem for the world. When you take off nuclear restrictions, that's a big problem for the world.
What level higher are you, Mr. President?
I think that Jerome Powell, I think we had a very good meeting. Forgetting about the building, that's out of control, all that. But I think we had.
What up, Good Friday? Good time. Salute, good time. Hope you're having a good time in the chat. Hope you're having a good Friday.
A very good meeting on interest rates. And he said to me, now I don't know if he's going to say this on Thursday or whenever he speaks, but he said to me very strongly, the country is doing well. He said, congratulations, the country is doing really well. And I got that to mean that I think he's going to start recommending lower rates.
Because of that conversation?
How do you think that the Supreme
The country really is doing well.
Mr. President, how do you think that
record business?
Did you speak to Netanyahu?
Thank you, Mr. President. How do you think that the Supreme Court's ruling that benefited you on presidential immunity?
Behavior Bender. Great comment. A weaker dollar makes exports less expensive and companies can sell more, which could increase the value of their stock holdings.
Would apply to
Great comment,
Barack
Behavior
Obama
Bender.
and what you're accusing him of doing.
It probably helps him a lot. Probably helps him a lot, the immunity ruling. But it doesn't help the people around him at all. But it probably helps him a lot. He's done criminal acts, there's no question about it. But he has immunity, and it probably helps him a lot.
Trade agreement you're hoping to find too.
He owes me big. Obama owes me big.
What are the details in the UK trade agreement you're hoping to fine tune with the Prime Minister
This week we want to talk about certain aspects which is going to be good for both countries. More fine-tuning, and also we're going to do a little celebrating together because, you know, we got along very well. UK's been trying to make a deal with us for like 12 years and haven't been able to do it. We got it done. He's doing a very good job, good Prime Minister, good guy. We really get along very well. So we're going to meet at Turnberry and we're going to meet at Aberdeen. So two beautiful places.
Is there wiggle room in steel and aluminum if they were to budge on digital services tax?
Say it.
Is there any wiggle room on steel and aluminum in exchange for any budge on digital services?
Not a lot, because if I do it for one, I have to do it for all. So on that, steel and aluminum, not a lot.
President, can you speak to Netanyahu about aid drops?
Sorry, Michelle, go ahead.
Mr. President, did you speak to Netanyahu about allowing aid drops in Gaza from Arab countries?
Yeah, I speak to him, but I can't tell you what I spoke to him about. But it was sort of disappointing, although I told you. I mean, I told you, when you get down to those last 20 hostages, you get down to that last 10 or 20, it's going to be very hard for Hamas to make a deal because they lose their shield, they lose their cover. We got a lot of them out, a lot of them. We took a lot of bodies out, too. You know, so many of the parents said, please get my son's body back. And we're able to do that. We got a lot of people out, live and people that are not alive. But it was very important to the parents to get their son back, even though they knew their son was dead.
Are you going to be able to get the Open Championship back to Turnberry?
I think they will do that, yeah. They want Turnberry is rated the #1 course in the world. I think they'll do that, yeah.
And are you going to talk to anybody
No,
about
I'm not going to. It's not about that. I'm going to see it for the first time in years. You were there the last time we went. That's pretty good, right? No, it's the best resort in the world, I think, at Turnberry, and it's one of the greatest courses in the world. We're going to see it. We're going to have, I believe, dinner at Turnberry. with the Prime Minister. Then we're going to go to the oil capital of Europe, which is Aberdeen, and we're going to have lunches there. We're going to have a good time. I think the Prime Minister and I get along very well.
And you're going to see the Scottish leader too, right? Swinney, John Swinney.
I am.
What's that about?
Well, we have a lot of things in Scotland. I have a lot of love. My brother was born in Scotland, and he's a good man. The Scottish leader's a good man, so I look forward to meeting him. That's all set up, right?
Harris Day is exactly 1 week from today, August the 1st. What do you expect between now and next Friday as it relates to your deadline?
When you say tariff, not Paris.
Paris.
Tariff. I think you said Paris Day.
No, Paris Day.
Well, most of the deals are finished right now. They're finished because we're just going to charge a certain tariff. A lower tariff that I could get. I don't want to hurt countries. But we're going to send a letter out sometime during the week. And it's basically going to say you're going to pay 10%, you're going to pay 15%, you're going to pay maybe less. I don't know. But Australia was great. They opened up beef yesterday for the first time ever. And they did it. We didn't know about it. We asked them to do it, and all of a sudden we got a word that they wanted. So obviously they're looking to do something. But Australia. So August 1st is going to come, and we will have most of our deals finished, if not all. We haven't really had a lot of luck with Canada. I think Canada could be one where they'll just pay tariffs, not really a negotiation. We're working very diligently with Europe, the EU, which covers a lot of territory, a lot of countries, and that's the big one right now. We have the confines of a deal with China, but we haven't really. We don't have a deal with Canada. We haven't been focused on it.
When you send out those letters, Mr. President, when you send out those letters, do you believe that will bring some certainty to the financial markets? Because then they will know.
No, when those letters go out, they're a page and a half. That means they have a deal. It's done. They pay that tariff, and that is a contract essentially. And they can come into the country. They're going to pay a tariff. I'm going to keep it minimal. I'm going to keep it. I'm not looking to hurt countries. I could do that too, but I'm not looking to do that. But when that letter goes out, that's a deal. And we'll be sending maybe close to 200 of those letters out. Don't forget, we have a lot of countries. So we're going to be sending out almost 200 of those letters. But once those letters go out, there we have a deal. Now, we sent one to Japan, we sent one to EU, and they came back and negotiated a deal. I think EU has got a pretty good chance of making a deal.
With all of that revenue coming in, Mr. President,
a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Our country was a dead country. It was a dead country 1 year ago. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And don't you feel it?
Mr. President, with all of that revenue coming in, tens and tens of billions of dollars, do you think there's the possibility of a rebate to the American public in terms of all of that money?
We're thinking about that, actually.
Did y'all hear what he just said? That is the question. Pay attention to what he's going to say next. Somebody asked him, are you still going to give that rebate back to the American people? I need y'all to go vote. Here we go. He about to answer the question right now.
We have so much money coming in. We're thinking about a little rebate, but the big thing we want to do is pay down debt. But we're thinking about a rebate. That's a very good question.
Did y'all hear that? The question of the chat is what one of those reporters just asked him, and he answered it. Great idea. We pay down the debt. It's so much money coming in. So many deals are being done. Pay down the debt. Give the American people a dividend. Let me rewind it.
Yeah. So August 1st is going to come, and we will have most of our deals finished, if not all. We haven't really had a lot of luck with Canada. I think Canada could be one where they'll just pay tariffs, not really a negotiation. We're working very diligently with Europe, the EU, which covers a lot of territory, a lot of countries, And that's the big one right now. We have the confines of a deal with China. But we haven't really, we don't have a deal with Canada. We haven't been focused on it.
When you send out those letters, Mr. President, when you send out those letters, do you believe that will bring some certainty to the financial markets? Because then they will know.
No, when those letters go out, they're a page and a half. That means they have a deal. It's done. They pay that tariff, and that is a contract essentially. And they can come into the country. They're going to pay a tariff. I'm going to keep it minimal. I'm going to keep it. I'm not looking to hurt countries. I could do that too, but I'm not looking to do that. But when that letter goes out, that's a deal. And we'll be sending maybe close to 200 of those letters out. Don't forget, we have a lot of countries. So we're going to be sending out almost 200 of those letters. But once those letters go out, there we have a deal. Now, we sent one to Japan, we sent one to EU, and they came back and negotiated a deal. I think EU has got a pretty good chance of making a deal.
With all of that revenue coming in, Mr. President.
A lot of money.
A lot of money.
Our country was a dead country. It was a dead country 1 year ago. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And don't you feel it?
Mr. President, with all of that revenue coming in tens of billions of dollars, do you think there's the possibility of a rebate to the American public in terms of all of that money?
We're thinking about that, actually. We have so much money coming in. We're thinking about a little rebate, but the big thing we want to do is pay down debt. But we're thinking about a rebate. That's a very good question. You just made a lot of news. We're thinking about a rebate because we have so much money coming in from tariffs that a little rebate for people of a certain income level might be very nice.
Humanitarian aid into Gaza. Do you think Israel is allowing enough humanitarian aid?
Being blocked by a lot of people. People don't know this, and we didn't certainly get any acknowledgement or thank you, but we contributed $60 million to food and supplies and everything else. We hope the money gets there because, that money gets taken, the food gets taken. We're going to do more, but we gave a lot of money. We gave a majority of the money, and the sad part is that no other country other than us gives anything.
Have you spoken to Michael Watley about running for that North Carolina?
I have, yeah.
And will he run, do you think?
I think he will.
So teacher shortages, so what can be done to get...
Are you from North Carolina?
My father lives there.
He'll be a good candidate.
What can be done to bring more teachers, more educators into the classroom to alleviate the teacher shortage across the country?
We're doing that, and we're doing it strongly. What we're doing is moving education back to the states. The states will run education. When they do it, you're going to have the best education in the world. We'll have 35 or 40 states where it will be as good as Sweden, Norway, Denmark, the top 5 or 6 countries.
How do you attract the top talent, the top teachers to get into the classroom?
We're going to get them. We already have them. When we go back to the states with education, you're going to see a big difference.
Mr. President, the Glenn Maxwell, is that on the table?
Interview going on. Todd Blanche is a great gentleman. He's a great man who's a great lawyer. He's got a great heart. But he's over there now. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I certainly can't talk about pardons.
Can you trust what she's telling him? She's a convicted trafficker who's eager to get out of prison.
Well, he's a professional lawyer. I think he's been through things like this before. But you should focus on Clinton. You should focus on the president of Harvard. The former president of Harvard. You should focus on some of the hedge fund guys. I'll give you a list. These guys lived with Jeffrey Epstein. I sure as hell didn't. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, should some be part of the
lower interest rates, because that'll take care of the housing. The housing is a little bit slower than everything else. Everything we're 100% done, but the housing, because this rate is too high. If he lowers it, you're going to see housing boom and down. We've got the hottest country in the world.
you doing? Appreciate you for joining me. Hope you're having a great morning.
All right, as you see there, wanted to see if the audio would come back up there for a moment, but just a few moments ago, we're seeing that President Trump was speaking ahead of.
None of this would be possible without the commitment of Governor DeSantis. His proactive stance long before this project broke ground, coming up now 3 years, Florida will not be passive.
Yeah, guys, that was a pretty good. Wait. Yeah, that was some pretty good questions that they asked Trump. That was pretty good content. Yeah, that was pretty good. Appreciate y'all for joining me. If you have not yet, hit the like button. Hit the like button for your boy. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all for joining me. I appreciate y'all. Well, I think I'm ending right here, guys. I had a good time kicking with y'all. A lot of smart people in the comment section. I'm sitting here reading the comments, guys. Wait, hold up. I'm going to stay a little bit. Let's see what they're talking about.
And I want to thank the great executives behind me. We face a monumental task, and we have faced a monumental task of righting the wrongs of the last administration. And how we're doing that is through a whole-of-government approach. Everything you see out here is a whole-of-government approach. It's all state, local, federal partners working in unison, working as one to resolve the problem of illegal immigration in this country. We've done that through this facility, and we'll continue to do that utilizing this facility. Again, it's the governor's vision, and it's our determination to make that happen. We've already started to facilitate that this week. We've had 2 or 3 removal flights, and we'll continue to have those removal flights. Up to 100 individuals who are illegally present in the state of Florida have already been removed from the United States. And again, we will continue to do that and utilize this facilities to the fullest potential. Again, I thank everyone for their time, and I thank Governor DeSantis for his vision and his leadership. Thank you.
Thanks. Blaze.
Good morning, everyone. Blaze Ngolia, Chief Financial Officer of the great state of Florida. First, I want to acknowledge and thank President Trump for everything that he is doing to make sure that he is stopping the stem of illegal immigration coming over. And I want to thank our great Governor Ron DeSantis for everything that he is doing. He has basically led on this issue since day one. And we would not be here today. This facility would not be here today if it was not for the governor leading on the issue, because the Governor DeSantis knew the enormity of this problem that was created by the Biden administration, and we knew that somehow we were going to have to get all of these criminal, illegal aliens out of the United States so they don't commit any further crimes, and the ones that are in here, illegal immigrants, we're going to have to do something with them. I know people have been saying, well, is this the right thing to do? What about the cost? We have always been talking about the cost of illegal immigration, and the taxpayers are going to bear the cost of it. So I don't want to hear anyone from the left start talking about cost, because this wouldn't be here if we wouldn't have de facto open borders over the last 4 years under the previous administration, 4 years under Joe Biden. We are doing what is necessary. We are doing what is right to make sure that we stem and stop illegal immigration. This facility and what we are doing at the state and the national level should be a deterrent to make sure that illegals do not continue crossing over the border. I am not going to sit here and I'm not going to apologize for removing criminal illegal aliens from the United States, those who are harming our communities, effectuating drug trafficking, human trafficking, and ravaging our communities. I make no apologies for saying illegal immigration is a scourge on this country. It needs to stop. It needs to stop now. And if there's any illegal immigrant listening to my voice right now, self-deport. Use the app. We will get you home. Do not come here because you will be removed. If you want to come here legally. Come here the right way. Be part of our communities. We are not going to stand for illegal immigration anymore.
Larry?
My primary remarks today are going to be directed to the illegal aliens.
Y'all hold on a second, guys. I'll be right back.
Been arrested, but who will be arrested. But before I do so, and not just to say nice words to be polite, it's important to understand the significance of this whole thing. This President Trump declared and wanted and ordered the largest mass deportation mission in history. That is what we're doing here. And what's very special and very unique about this point in time is you have the genius and mastery of a Kevin Guthrie and his team, and it is a team, it's not just him, at the Division of Emergency Management, who is the best in the world at doing things fast, with a sense of urgency, in an environment of high pressure and high stakes. And it's an honor to work with you and to work with your team. And what he brings to this, in addition to his skill set, is doing things with a sense of urgency. And that is a trait that I will say, Governor, with all due respect, is one that I know you value, and I value as well. Then we have combined with that, who I believe the person who has been chosen by the Department of Homeland Security to be the one that I joke with him and I say was sent to Florida to run all the federal immigration enforcement operations in Florida. I joke with him, they sent him to the best state, the state that's the most effective. The state could, quite frankly, do most things on its own. But that's not why. Why they sent Garrett Ripa here is because he is developing the blueprint or the prototype here in Florida, which the president was just in town here at this very location just a couple of weeks ago, declaring Florida the cutting edge, the best, the template, the example for other states to follow. So Garrett Ripa each day, 24/7, on the Guthrie timeline, is working to bring this all together to make it happen, not so we can do high fives and declare victory in Florida, but to be a national leader under Governor DeSantis' leadership, along with President Trump, making this the template, the blueprint that can be scaled and replicated to be generative for the entire country. So now returning very quickly as I look to the illegal aliens who live in Florida, and I want to say this humanely and with respect, not in terms of finger pointing that this is going to happen and that's going to happen. You are still here. Implicit in that is the notion that you are aware of DHS Secretary Kristi Noem's CBP home platform. It's an option for you to self-deport, to have your flight home paid for, to receive $1,000 when you arrive back in your home country, and very importantly, for you to be eligible to return to this country in the ordinary course the right way, the lawful way. But it's critical to know, and not said enough in my opinion, is that if you put that off thinking you can take the risk and it might turn out well for you, you should think again. Because if you are arrested and you come to a place like Alligator Alcatraz, you are not eligible for CBP home. You're not eligible for that. Now you may think that based on everything that you've seen or heard, that the tempo that you have seen the last 5 or 6 months is the way it is always going to be. I'm here today with some new information. That is not the case. There's two very, very significant things that you need to know about that. Here in Florida, we've been leading all the national numbers with regard to immigration arrests for months. And that is largely to the credit of the Florida Highway Patrol, who's had 1,800 Florida troopers out with their universal jurisdiction throughout Florida, not just on the highways, leading the country, making arrests. Just within the last couple of days, the federal government has issued credentials to over 1,200 Florida sheriff deputies and over 650 FDLE agents and other state and local law enforcement agencies, to where we have more than doubled our capability and capacity to effect arrests. That tied together with us getting good, practicing, getting muscle memory and making things happen, I strongly suggest to you is it is a new day each day as we go forward now. Don't look back on where we've been. There will be a surge of arrests, and what you see here at Alligator Alcatraz and what's to follow on detention capacity will be here to meet that surge. The other thing, the last thing I want to say about this is that if you're thinking is that, well, it's not so bad, if I get arrested, because you know, and you have seen, and we have all lived and seen the last 4 years of catch and release. I'll go, I'll get arrested, and an immigration judge will bond me out, and I'll be right back in the community with my lawyer for 4 or 5 years of due process of whatever we can throw on the wall, thinking there may be some amnesty or something might happen. Well, that's other news. There's been a development within the last 2 weeks that has significantly cut back bond release from detention. It is my strong recommendation to you that if you do not take up Secretary Noem on the CBP home option to return home, that you will very likely be in a place just like this, if not this place, and you will be here for the entire duration of the time that you are exhausting your due process rights. You will not be living freely in our communities while you're awaiting the due process to take place for years or months. So I strongly recommend to you, you consider those things, you inform yourself, make the move on CBP home before you are arrested. Thank you.
And so the flights are going. I think the cadence is going to increase. I think you're going to continue to see the numbers really go up dramatically. And then as there's demand, we can expand the footprint here to 3,000. And then we can do Camp Blanding. And I said we've always been ready, willing, and able to do that. I don't want it to be something where illegals are just being like stored there and then just kind of sitting. I want it to be where illegals are here, there's an aggressive processing and an aggressive deportation schedule. That's what you're seeing starting to occur here down at Alligator Alcatraz. And when there's demand for that beyond here, up there, then we're happy to be able to respond accordingly. And so we look forward to the increased cadence. We look forward to hopefully being able to get the approval for the immigration judges to be on site here. And we've offered different personnel that are we're working through different issues because there are logistical issues involved. But President Trump was very clear. He wants to see a force multiplier with respect to the immigration adjudication process. And he wants to speed it up, and he wants Florida to play a role, and he wants the DOJ to approve a way forward there. So we stand ready, willing, and able to help with that. And it's all about just realizing the vision, fulfilling the mandate with what people want. They want the border secured, which has been done very well, but they also want to have legal workforce. They want to have the rule of law. They certainly don't want to have massive costs imposed on their communities because of waves of illegal immigration. So this is our chance to finally solve this problem once and for all. Florida's playing the leading role amongst the 50 states, and I don't think there's anyone that's even close to doing what we've done. Okay, we have any questions?
I'm back, guys. Appreciate y'all for joining.
They're just listening into Florida Governor Ron DeSantis as he's getting ready to go into the question and answer portion of this news conference that was held there in Alligator Alcatraz. Outside of it, so we did want to bring that to you here on Live Now from Fox. We want to play out that question and answer portion in full. The governor just wrapped up speaking there not too long ago, so we'll play that out in full, but we have to slide away for a quick 2-minute commercial break. Stay right here with us.
Well, I'll let Kevin address. You want to address the contract issue?
So, and we happen to have the CFO with us today, and he and I were talking about this earlier. The contracts not being on the website is false. What our staff ended up doing was we actually put proprietary information on the website. We have competitive contracts. We are encouraged to do competitive procurements. And by the way, there's not a single sole source contract at this site. Now that you got me riled back up again, sorry about that. Everything here has been competitively bid off of master contracts that went to competitive procurement a year, 2, 3 years ago. So what happened was our team put the actual detailed line item PO that then now every other competitive contractor can see what their rate is. So we took that down. We've replaced it with summary sheets on the actual amount that they've been given. So that's what's happened there.
What about the legal?
Oh, and the legal issue. Legal issue, my understanding, my attorney has told me that she has worked out the issues, and we should have our first set of on-site legal representation no later than Monday. And we are scheduled, I'm looking for my guy, we're scheduled to go with that almost 24/7 if we need to. So the space that we have, we can do those meetings all day long, 24/7, 365. But we had some technology issues. We have now worked those things out, and we should be starting that on Monday.
Some of the, remember, there's probably close to 800,000 illegal aliens that have already been ordered deported in this country. Florida, we have at least 50,000, 75,000. I mean, so the idea that somehow, you need some elaborate process in some of those situations, it's just not factually true in terms of the law. DHS can answer on each individual folks, but the whole purpose of having this is to be able to have a very efficient way to deport, understanding that they have to go through this process. I mean, to me, it's like, if you're subjected to traditional criminal process, there's a bunch of due process that goes into that, because ultimately, are you guilty of this crime? There's elements, all this. This should be a pretty simple process. You either have a right to be here or you don't. And really, that's what we need to determine when you do this. And once that's determined, if you're in this country illegally, then you should be subject to expeditious deportation. And that's the goal of what this is doing. But I know that DHS has a whole process for how they do it. Now, from the state's perspective, we ramp all this up. We're running. Once they get on that plane, DHS handles them and process them, deport them accordingly. So, and there's different ways. I mean, I know DHS has, in some instances, just deported people back across the Mexico border, and that's fine. I mean, whatever they think works is all good and good. Well, I'll refer that to DHS in terms of how that. I can tell you, DHS is sending people who they absolutely believe are here illegally and are subject to deportation, right?
And are on final removal order. There's not a person here that is not on a final removal order.
Well, there you go. So everybody here is already on a final removal order. So in that situation, to have a family member say they have the proper credentials when they've already been ordered to be removed through the process shows you that that's not accurate. That they had a process. That process has been executed, and they have found to not have the right to be in this country. I would also just point out, I mean, look, there's a lot of people that have fraudulent credentials. I mean, let's just be clear. When, we have E-Verify in Florida, but, some of these guys, they have fake IDs. And so if you just run the ID, it actually may come back positive as someone can be here because they think it's somebody else. They don't realize that there's an illegal that has it. But, yeah, they've been ordered to be removed from this country, and they have the ability to do that. Well, I think the issue is Florida's led the way for years now. We led the country, dragged this country out of COVID lockdown. We were the place everybody was coming to escape the madness in a lot of these other places, not just in the United States, but around the world. We led the effort to fight against Biden's immigration and border policies. We led the effort against the woke mind virus, whether that was in schools, whether that was in corporate America. We were effectively the ones that nuked ESG. We were the first state to eliminate DE&I. Of course, we've been leading the way on economy 3 years in a row, ranked #1. So I think we've seen issues, we've addressed the issues, particularly when you have some of the far left that's really run amok in some of these places, and may run amok more in places like New York City if this guy gets elected to be mayor of New York. It's going to be huge fallout from that. So we've continued to lead, and I think the stuff that we were doing prior to the Trump administration taking office, these are the things that conservatives have wanted to see done for a long time. I mean, we've been complaining for 20 years about higher education going off the rails, and yet no one was doing anything about it. So we came in and we've done that. We've really right-sized or course-corrected, I think, positively. And I think what they're doing with Linda McMahon on higher education is positive. We're working constructively. We just did the accreditation. We're going to have a new accreditor that's going to be able to help us get over some of these things that have been holding back higher ed. So on and on it goes.
All right, as you see, they're just listening into some of those remarks from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, speaking with other officials as well. They're talking about alligator Alcatraz. We wanted to bring that to you here on Live Now.
He said it's people over here that got real IDs, but they're still over here illegally. They don't know who legal, who. It seems like to me that they really don't know who's illegal. If a lot of people are over here with legit IDs, what is the process of finding out if they're really illegal or not?
Internally, in terms of maneuvering, the outside mobilization makes all the difference. So thank all of you for being part of one aspect or another of making change for the future. So where we are, I mean, this is quite a place, isn't it? I didn't realize it was so far. I would have been here earlier. But in any event, here we are in a place in time. Jessica talked about her birth and where and when that all happened. A place in time. Jamie Raskin, my friend, is always quoting Thomas Paine. And Thomas Paine said, "The times have found us." Times found our founders, as he was referencing them, to declare independence, take that risk. Their lives, their sacred honor. Their lives, their livelihood, and their sacred honor. To establish a country based on democracy, something that was unheard of in the world. We're all monarchs. Based on democracy. And they wrote a constitution. Thank God they made it amendable and all that. So then, Lincoln, the times found him to save that democracy, to save the union, the sacred union that our democracy had as its goal. And now the times have found us. It is not an exaggeration to say that so much that our founders had in their vision and their values and what Lincoln fought for are at risk now under this administration. When some of us have met before, it was a challenge. It was a difference of opinion. But this is quite different.
Hello, Richard.
So
How
we
you
don't
doing?
agonize, we organize.
Appreciate you for joining
and
me,
that's what
Richard.
this is all about. We have no doubt that we will win the election, for the House of Representatives in the next election. Yeah. No doubt. Let me tell you, though, why I'm especially happy and honored to be here with each of you. When we won in 06, we won in 05. We had our preparation ready a year in advance. When we won in 18, we had our plan and our preparation in 17. And we are going to win next year because we are going to be ready this year. In just a few months, maybe, what's this, July, by October, certainly November, but by October, we will, with all the help of so many people working, we'll have taken, what's his name's numbers down. When his numbers come down, different people run. If you were a Republican, you were going to run, and the president was at 42%, then you might say, I'll wait until later if you have anything to lose. If you don't have anything to lose, we can beat you. And then on our side, we will be tracking the A team. Gen Z has a really important role. Voters for the future. The future, it belongs to you. It's where you will live. So whether we're talking about having a safe planet,
hello, Triple
that will
H.
exist
How you
for
doing?
everyone into the future.
Appreciate you for joining me.
A strong democracy for what happens into the future. Fairness in our economy. A lot of that is at risk in this next election. Just for a little history, we really are here to talk about progress, but just for a little history for a moment. When we won in 2006, it was the first time that we had won since 1992. Harry Reid and I were new leaders. This was our first election without a presidential, just congressional. And we said we made a decision to win, and therefore we're going to make every decision in favor of winning. At the time we made that statement, President George Bush, who was a patriot in our country, and we respected him. It's a lot different than what's happening now. He was at 58% in the polls. By the time we talked to the public about his plan to privatize Social Security and all that, the calls, he was at 38% in September. And that's when we were attracting our A team. First time since 1992. In 17, we had a Republican president. But every time we won, we've had a Republican, won that back, we've had a Republican president. So in 17, the current occupant of the White House was in the White House, and we took his numbers down, and then we attracted the A team in the following year. But it's important to be strong in the year in advance, because that's when the troops line up. We have our messaging, we have our mobilization, we need the money to do it, but they are only legs to a stool to hold up the most important part, the candidate. Now, Trump's numbers are terrible now, but they're only the second worst of a modern president. The worst of a modern president was Donald Trump in his first term. So I want you to be as hopeful and as energetic and as engaged as Voters for the Future and Santiago and Eve and the other, Jessica and all the others have given you leadership and guidance on. Because being organized, we don't agonize, we organize. That's so important. And the beautiful diversity that I see here is such a source of...
Since people are still voting, I'm going to just let the poll keep going. I know I said I was going to end it at 600, but I'm going to keep it going. Appreciate y'all for voting. I appreciate everybody that's inside the chat. This is Nancy Pelosi.
For my very eyes. But you have to seize it and you have to shape it, and we'll learn from you as to the issues that are important to you in the future that you will be enjoying. I know for many of you that we've been communicating with, that listening to you, that saving the planet is important. That has no place in the agenda of the current president. In fact, the reverse is true. And I know that you care about individual rights and respect for the dignity and worth of every person, whoever that person may be. So thank you for that, and thank you for being here today. I was a little thrown off by the name of the place. Was it Throw Axe? I thought it was Throw Ass, but I don't know. I got it all wrong. But it really, this time that we're here right now, last week on the 17th, Christine keeps reminding me, on the 17th of July, we observed the 5-year anniversary of John Lewis's passing. He was such a hero, and still is, but was such a hero on the day-to-day basis in the Congress. He started his political work when he was in high school, so you're never too young to get started on all of this. He also said that democracy is not a static thing, it is an action. And that's what we have to do, is to act upon our beliefs and all of this. And your beliefs may be so entrepreneurial and fresh in their thinking that it will take a different shape, and that will be a beautiful thing for our country. It was, again, the Times found him. Times found John Lewis. But this week, we are also observing the 60th anniversary of Medicaid and Medicare. This is really important to our country. Christine and I both, at launching 9 o'clock a couple nights ago, she during the night, but everyone playing a role to have a vigil about that, because that is so important to the health, not only the physical health, but the financial health of America's working families. And this is shameful what they are doing, shameful of what they're doing. And I just say this, and it sounds disrespectful, but I feel disrespected by what some of the things they're doing for the American people. I say, you listen to them speak, and it's like they pray in church on Sunday, and they talk about praying in church on Sunday, and then they prey on people the rest of the week, taking away health care, taking away food for our children, taking away money for education, and saying they have to save that money so they can give tax breaks to the richest people in America. They did that in 17. They had a bill that added $2 trillion to the national debt so they could give tax breaks to the wealthiest people at the expense of working families in our country. And they did it again worse. Now it's going to add up almost $4 trillion. I didn't say billion or million. I said $1 trillion to the national debt for you to pay for, unless we put a stop to it. And that's what we have to do. That's why we have to win the election. This isn't about politics. It's about values. It's about ethics, ethical well-being. And so we have this 60th anniversary. It'll go until Saturday morning. And this, to me, is part of that celebration, how you will mobilize for the future. How you'll mobilize for the future. It is a glorious time. It is an opportunity for Gen Z to make its mark, for voters for the future. We learn from you. You know, I'm telling you history of what we did, and just to emphasize to you the importance of this year, these next 2 months. These next 2 months to make the calls, to walk the precincts and the rest of that. We have some elections in Virginia and New Jersey that are imminent, but we have to get ready again for next year, because these elections are behind us. So again, it's not always about elections. For example, this is, and I'll close with this. Did I say that already? Nothing. You know, we're having this big...
Hello, Ace. How you doing? Appreciate you for joining me.
To be a statement of our national values, what we care about, what we believe in, what are our values as a country, should be reflected in how we allocate our resources. Not so with this gang. What they're doing is just disgraceful, shameful, shameful. For example, nothing brings more money to the national treasury. Nothing brings more money to the national treasury than investments in education. Nothing. We have early childhood, K through 12, higher education, post-grad, if you go there, and lifetime learning for our workers. Not any of their tax cuts, which they say are going to bring. That's just not true. But it is true that education is about upward mobility, for young people to reach their aspirations, for our country to be competitive. And those are beautiful thoughts, but from the standpoint of dollars and cents, nothing brings more. And what are they doing? Eliminating the Department of Education and the Civil Rights Division, all of that. What are they doing? Depriving communities of funds. And you know who they're depriving? The poorest children, the economically disadvantaged children. Title I, boom. Places like that. That's just brutal. And people have to know, maybe they're not affected by Title I, but our society is, and our children are, and we want them all to have the brightest future that is possible and not have the funding for education cut because the richest person in America is getting a tax cut. Cancel the cuts. Cancel the cuts. I'm with you all the way. That's what we have to do. That's their goal. Just one last thing. Just because you're taking a big bite of the apple about how you go forward in our country. When I was your age, and that was a while ago, there was capitalism that was called stakeholder capitalism. So if somebody was the CEO of the company, he probably made about 30 times what the workers made. 30 times. And they made decisions based on their shareholders, that was their obligation, but also their employees, their customers, the community they lived in. So about 30 times. Stakeholder capitalism. Now we've moved to shareholder capitalism, where the CEO of the company is making like 300 or 400 times what their workers are making. It would take some of our workers a lifetime to make what the CEO makes in 1 year. So we have important work to do about fairness and all the rest of that. How could that be okay? And even CEOs have complained about that and said that's not what capitalism is supposed to be about. 300, 400 times? And it would take, well, again, a person's whole future. But if you go back, it would take from like well before the revolution for them to have to work all that time to make what the boss makes. So this is unfair, it's unjust, it's undemocratic, it's wrong, it's shameful, and it must be changed. And we are going to, that's our fight, to cancel the cuts. To cancel the cuts, but with a reason, and also listening to how you see what the priorities should be for the future. I'll just again close by saying, and I mean it this time, I'm from Baltimore. When we're coming here, I felt as though I was going back home to Baltimore. Any Marylanders here? Any Californians here? So the national anthem was written in Baltimore, and I'm very proud of that. And one of my favorite lines in it is, proof through the night that our flag was still there. That's what's in there. All the rockets right there. Proof through the night I was there. And that's when I start cheering, because that's our responsibility, to prove through the night of this wretched administration that our flag is still there in the manner that we pledge every day.
Great point, Broken. What would be better for America is if we fix the broken banking system. We used to get 10% return on our savings accounts. Now we get a $5 service fee. My bank is, if you don't have, well, you got to have a certain amount in the bank and they'll waive the service fee. But if you don't have that threshold as a deposit in the bank sitting there, my bank is a $10 service fee, I think. Yeah, it's like 10. So yes, you got to put, like, in some banks it's 2,000, 3,000, and you got to let it just sit there in order to get that fee waived, or direct deposit from the job. So yes, great point, Broken. Great point.
All right, just wanted to bring you those remarks there.
Great point. Let's say on the votes, we got 664 votes, but it's still the same. 71% say yes, 29% say no. 29% say no. So I think I'm going to end the poll right now. Yeah, I think I'm in the poll right now, guys. I thank everybody for voting. I thank for everybody for commenting inside the chat and coming and rocking with me. If you have not hit the like button yet, hit the like button. We got 113 likes, which is great. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and then drop a comment. We got 664 votes. 71% says we should get a dividend on all this money coming in. Every single day, we hear them saying all this money coming in, all these deals, all this money that they're making every single day. Of course, we want the debt paid down. But the question that everybody is asking, what about, well, he called it a rebate. What about the rebates? So that's why we got to vote. He did speak about it a little bit, and he agrees that we should all get a dividend/rebate on all this money coming in once we start to pay this debt down, which is great. We're going to see how it's going to work out, guys. I don't think we should get a dividend/rebate right now, but if we keep in bringing in all this money 2 or 3 years down the line, because if you think about it, guys, every single day they're bragging about all these deals. 500 billion, a trillion, 500 billion, 550 billion. They're bragging about all this money that's coming in. Now, the people are starting to think about the rebate/dividend, but no rebate/dividend right now. Pay the debt down, right? Pay the debt down, and then start, issuing out some dividend/rebates. That's right, Spam. Take care of the debt. So the rebate/dividend, not right now, but in the future. All this money that's coming in, they should have that debt paid down in no time. So I think I'm going to end it right here, guys. I appreciate y'all for joining me. Had a good live. A lot of great, smart people inside of the chat, leaving great comments. And yes, I've been reading all the comments, just getting a lot of information for all these smart people that are inside this chat. So if you're just watching, read the chat. A lot of smart people are in this chat. A lot of successful people are in this chat. So once you see something, you write it down and you think about it, and you try to use it to your advantage to help you and your family, because there's a lot of Jews that are not only being said on these from these people, but also inside of this chat. Also inside of the chat. So I appreciate everybody for rocking with me. I love and I appreciate y'all. Thank you for voting. I'm in the poll right now. 71% yes, 29% says no. Boom. That's the end of the chat. So I appreciate y'all for joining me, man. All y'all that came and rocked with me. Everybody that's coming back rocking with me. I love and I appreciate y'all. All the returning subscribers, all the returning people that are coming back. I appreciate y'all. Whichever side of the fence you on, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I really do. So subscribe to the channel. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. So with that being said, guys, I love and I appreciate y'all. If you already know, I do the walk down later. That's when I run 6 miles, and then I walk another 2 or 3 and then I interact with the people. So come join me on the walk down, guys. Come join me on the walk down. Hit the subscribe button. Put the notification bell on. And then when I go live for the walk down, come kick it and rock with me. So with that being said, I love and I appreciate y'all. To the next one, I'm out.